Sorry, you have to listen to my playing. It's better when Ben does these, but he's in Indiana. This is Oklahoma. So I'm going to do a comparison of the Bludotone Mini 80s Classic Skyliner and the actual Bludotone. It's a 2011 Bludotone 80s Classic. It's the very first Bludotone I bought. We've had over 25 Bludotones through our hands since 2011, and that one's just my end all. So we'll do a comparison. Everything is going to be running through the aux boxes into my mixer for digital recording, and I've got stereo QSC K10-2s that you can't see off screen. We'll be hearing those, but we'll also be hearing these speaker cabinets. For the basic comparison, I want to do just the speaker cabinet with no aux effects or anything. So right now we're going through a 212 Electro Voice 12S. We'll start with this amp to this amp to that amp with no effects or anything else. This is a 1954 Gibson Les Paul, all original except for my tuners. The tuners were pristine, but they're famous for breaking, so I took them off and put these direct replacements on with lockers because I'm old and it makes my life easy. So anyway, here we go. 8 pounds, actually 7 pounds, 15 ounces. So here is the first Mini, the OD Classic Mini. The Skyliner Mini, once again through the Electro Voice. Now just for giggles, I'm going to go back here. Now let's hear the full amp. Pretty darn close. Now I can do one thing to make it closer. The phase inverter spot in both of these amps still has a JJ tube in it, where over there I've got a Telefunken, old stock Telefunken tube. The first tubes here, Telefunken, long plate RCA, Telefunken RCA, same in that amp. But I was waiting on my 2 Telefunken 12DW7s to show up in the mail today, and only one did. I got a Mullard and a Telefunken, so the other Telefunken's not here. Later on I'll put the Telefunken in this and it'll be effectively matched to the big amp. But for now, you get an idea. Here it is with the Alnico speakers. That's the big amp, the Classic Mini. Here's the Skyliner. Okay, great. Now let's bring in some front of house. So you're picking up the microphones on my iPhone, and we'll also be getting the digital recording that is just the aux to the front of house. So here's the same stupid little lick. It's the Skyliner. Here's the Classic. Big amp. also dialed up. Here's the Skyliner. And the 80s. Say with the Les Paul, I'm pretty fond of this Skyliner. It's a little bit of a scoop in the mids, and that makes the trebles pop out, and it's a cool thing. I'm also going to give you a humbucker. So that was the 54 Les Paul, and this is a collector's choice Nicky. It looks like a real old guitar. I wish it was, but it's not. Here we'll do a little bit. Yeah, we're in the classic still. Turn the gain down just a bit so it stays nice and clean for everybody. Here's the Skyliner. Too quiet, Randy. I'll put it right there. Big amp. Let's get back to the 80s Mini. I think you can hear a lot of difference there. This is the Skyliner. They're really close clean. Let's switch them. They all have the same 3-button foot switch. Brandon's offering a smaller foot switch, but I kind of have some balance issues these days, and I like the idea of having a little more foot switch under my toe, and without having to raise my foot. So anyway. Which one was that? I don't know. That was the Skyliner. Here's the 80s. got to go ahead and swap this tube, because there is a difference that I can hear, and it's not all the preamp tube. That was a little warm, just in case you're wondering. It's not all the preamp tube making that difference, but it is some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Telefunken phase inverter into this guy. The other thing I've noticed is that there's a little bit of difference in the bottom. So for example, in the big amp, as you turn the master up, it's also kind of an EQ control that brings the bass up a little bit. Power tubes specific, right? And obviously we can't do that here. So you have to edit for a little bit of EQ. However, that extra girth that comes up, the extra bottom that comes up in the amp, that's exactly what I'm always dialing out in the mix, because it competes with the bass guitar and the low part of the keys and the kick drum. And it's always the part that I'm trying to shave off, and it's just not there in the minis. So I actually kind of view that as a plus. So one more time, here's the big amp. To the Mini. It's not quite as open sounding. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to turn on the drive channel bright control. That's most of the way there. Go to the higher bright setting. To my damaged old ears, that's a dead match. So, you know. That was the big amp. Here's the Mini. Mini's actually sustaining a tad better, which is cool. It maybe has a little bit fresher preamp tube in V1, I don't know. Oh, and here's the Skyliner doing the same thing. Nope. You can't hear it, right? Actually, if you dial that about there, drive down quite a bit. Doesn't help. Anyway, you get an idea. They sound really close. I never did switch cabinets. Back over here to the Alnicos. Turn this up a bit. Too much. Probably want to know what they sound like with the Stratocaster too. Probably a Tele, but I don't have a Tele here. 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 Here's an acid test for you. Oops, sorry. I love that amp with the Stratocaster. It just sounds really sweet. How close do we get here? The answer is pretty darn close. My ears are damaged, and I feel like it's a little dark, which means it's probably just about right. But if I turn on I already had the bright on the first position. Go to the second position. That's too crispy to me. Go back where I had it, and I'll give it an accent. I'll turn that bright switch off. Both in the room through the speaker cabinets and what you'll hear from the direct recording front of house thing. This 5-pound solution is phenomenal. You know, you can do whatever you want to do. I use the aux stomp. I use the left out of the, it's a stereo pedal. I use the left side out to go to front of house. I have a mono patch for front of house, and so I use the left out for front of house, and I use the right out to power a small QSC K10. It's 2,000 watts, and I put it next to me and turn it up as loud as they'll let me without screaming, and it sounds great, and I don't miss the tube amp and the giant speaker cabinet and the microphone and or having to carry one of these guys. These things are like 15, 18 pounds. So anyway, I hope this helps. Sorry it's so long-winded, and I'm sorry my chops are so old. I'm old too. That's it. Talk to you soon.